Welcome back everybody, 14th of May 2026 I believe. I'm here with Arthur Cornwall and on this beautiful Canterbury Plains and just got a bit of a chat. 6 years since we put a bunch of units on at Arthur's properties, and so I just thought I'd come and do while the sun's out, come and do a bit of an update, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's I think 2019 they went in.
That'll be right. Yep.
So the 7th season, and your experience with Vortex devices has been interesting.
Yes, I know when we first put them in there, we put them on, I think 2 of them on an irrigation pump system, and then we just put a pivots on and we fired them up and what have you, and it was quite funny because the girl that was part of the pivot company that monitored the performance of the pivots rang us up after about a month, 6 weeks, and she says, I don't know what's going on, but she says your penetration levels with your soils is far more than anybody else, and she says there's got to be some problems with the calibration of the machine. And so I just sort of laughed at her and I said, oh, there's a wee bit of witchcraft going on here, and sort of explained the story and about the Vortex generators, and yeah, and it's all sort of led to them. So we've actually sold that property off with those units onto our dairy farm, onto our son and daughter-in-law, but we've taken over another property 5 years ago, and I had a Vortex generator on a wee pump that was supplying water to 18 hectares, and we had 160 hectare pivots. So I thought, oh, it's silly having one on the 18, so we flicked that over to the big pivot.
Yep.
And yeah, the electricity demand, there was 89 amps when the pivot was running, and
That was prior to putting the...
Yeah, starting her up, and I thought, oh, that's good, and I'd done a round of 10 mils around the farm prior. So we put the generator on, and then, yeah, just slowly watched it over a half-hour period, came back, yeah, about a half an hour later, and we'd gone down to 72 amps. I thought, wow, what's going on here? And
That's significant.
so it was pretty significant, and I'm not sure what the dollar value means, but it's got to be one in there.
Yeah.
And then the pivot did its round and went back to the data on the soil monitor, and I would say it'd have to be at least 25% better penetration in that on that round. So putting the two together, something's definitely happening. It was definitely instant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, it just runs and it just quietly works away, which is the way I like it.
The set and forget model.
Yeah, I don't think it's worn out yet. So.
No, absolutely. So since I was here last with Arthur, we've done a lot of work on turf, on golf courses, parks, and bits and pieces, schools and things like that. And what we found interesting is the change in the charge of the water of the Vortex devices means the water penetrates, because you're dropping the ORP of the water, the oxidation reduction potential of the water, you're dropping that down. So, because the ground's got a negative charge, so when you drop the charge of the water, it disperses more evenly through the profile, as opposed to when you're using bulk water, it's just pulled down through the profile by the path of least resistance. So you get more uniform soil moisture than you do with regular irrigation. That's probably why you're seeing that better penetration, because not as much is going straight through the profile.
Yeah.
You know, and we've you know, noted that on parks using NDVI, the satellite mapping of the infrared energy coming out of the plants. You can tell how well the plants and the soil moisture and all that by the infrared energy that the ground's giving off, and so, you know, that's been another good piece of evidence. You know, I would hazard a guess that you're probably running with a loam soil here. You know, last time we turned up, you just put through a new pivot line, and I think you said the profile was down wet, like down to 1100 where you'd run that line. It was soaked right the way through, which probably meant, like, if you're trying to get the water to 350 to 400, you're probably overwatering it by 2/3.
Yep.
Right, and that means you're pushing the nitrogen through the soil.
Yep.
That if you're fertilising, which isn't ideal. So did you end up backing off the amount of water that you were putting on?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, when we found, because I've got a 250mm probe,
Yeah.
and always go by what we're doing on that, and then we found that, you know, right to the 250 it was wet, which usually we could only get to about 150 odd if you were really lucky, and there was quite a bit of water going on with the help of rain. So that sort of said to us, hey, yeah, we can back off.
Yep.
And like I run the pivot on 15 mils, so we give it a pretty reasonable soak, and then we'll shut it down for a couple of days. You know, if it's reasonable weather, not too hot. Otherwise she'll just keep going, because it only puts on 25 mils a week. So
Okay.
if we do, you get a hot summer, which is a rare
Yeah,
thing.
that last summer that I was here in 2020, it had been dry, super dry.
Yep.
Right, and you were like, well, everybody else's place is looking a bit average, and
Yeah.
we're pretty happy here.
We're chugging along, and you know, and we can shut it down, because we know, you know, we've got the penetration that's going to stay there, and of course the biology in the soil, working on all that. So we've got a lot going on that just, basically leave it to Mother Nature and just give her a tweak every now and then if we think she needs a hand. And
and the units are still cogging along after 7 years without a hitch.
yeah, well, they've never complained.
Yeah,
No
well,
warning lights have come up or anything, so we just keep rocking and rolling. But the one thing about our scheme too is, because we're on a gravity fed water scheme, and probably about every 200 or 300 metres we have drops in the race, and the water tumbles and aerates and all the rest, which is fantastic. But then we put it into a 100,000 cubic metre pond, and it virtually
sits there and dies.
It's dead.
Yeah.
So, and then we suck it out, and like the old saying is, you get a green drought with irrigation.
Yep.
Because, you know, your water's dead and it'll keep green, but it won't grow any bulk, or not so much bulk. But because we can energise it again, you know, our fertiliser regimes just come back to.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I've never been a great one on nitrogen and what have you, but I always thought if I could get back to 60 units of N, I'll be pretty happy. And now we're down to 20, or if we've got a crop, 40 units of N.
Yeah.
Just through sulphate of ammonia. I won't use urea. So it's usually a springtime application, just to give things a wee bit of a kick.
Yep.
And then we just sort of foliar feed. After that, 2 or 3 foliar feeds with biology, a bit of seaweed, and a bit of calcium ammonium nitrate. And that's basically it. And we just let Mother Nature do its thing, and the stock are happy, healthy.
How many in the sick bin at the moment?
Oh, there's none in the sick bin, just
All
the
right.
way we like it.
Yeah, well, that's perfect.
No.
I think last time I was here there was one.
Yeah, that'll be about. We get the odd one, but I don't know, when you're dealing with probably 1,500 odd animals from 2 dairy farms and the young stock and all the rest, there's a lot of stock going through the system, and some of them don't always stay on this property that long, they move on. But you know, the only hassles we have, and everybody has, is going from the transition from summer to autumn feed.
Yep.
And you know, we've found that's usually a B12 selenium injection, and then the old rumen gets going again. So you know, they can look a bit loose, and then they come around and fire up. But it's when, you know, young animals prance around the paddock, and where, you know, they just go nutty, where you get animals that are fed on like kale or fodder beet. They're far more docile, and you know, the youth and enthusiasm's gone out of them. So and we grow clover, and it scares my son the living daylights out of you. Oh, we're going to lose animals through bloat. Like, they'll go on to clover ryegrass like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, you need bloat oil and all the rest, and we just rock and roll, and they go in and they munch it up, and touch wood. Yeah, the last 2 or 3 years we've never lost an animal through bloat.
That's great.
But you know, and we're doing stuff that, you know, a lot of people don't like to do. You know, I've always challenged the system, and just do what Mother Nature, and if we can give her a tweak.
Yep. Give her a little hand.
Yeah. there's nothing more satisfying. Keep it simple, stupid.
Well, with the way fertiliser prices are going, I'm sure you're happy that you're down at 20 units.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the fertiliser companies don't even want to know us because we don't register on their books. And we're still growing grass.
Yeah.
But you know, when we took this place over 5 years ago, there wasn't a worm on the place. And if I found one, I used to pick it up and put it back into where it might survive. But now you can go and dig here and, 10, 15, 20 worms.
Yeah, beautiful.
Without too much hassle. So, so if they like hanging around, we'll try and make it good for them.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But we're still in a huge learning phase, and what's the limit? And we have these limits of production that we've sort of been given. You can only do this and you only do that. But where's the genetic potential of what we're actually doing? And I think we can ramp that up considerably to get away from those averages that are ordinary.
And so your milk solids and your numbers like that are good compared to other farms, or about the same, or per head?
Yeah, David's probably pretty much up there, but he is on the conventional side and looks over at the other side. So the young ones the large percentage of them have a model that for X amount of inputs you can have X amount of outputs, and it fits the mortgage, it fits everything, and we can make a bit of money out of that. So it's not till a payout. A couple of years ago, the payout was, I think it was going to be $7, down from $8 or $9, and all of a sudden the calculators come out and we've got to save money here, and then about 2 months later, we're up to $8.50. Threw the calculators away and just went back to normal again. So we're dealing with youth and enthusiasm and age and wisdom. So, and if we can bring the two together, we can move mountains. But
and it's better for the environment, right?
Yeah.
We've got problems here in Canterbury with nitrates in the water table. Through too much going on, and you're putting 20 parts on. So why aren't more doing this?
Because they don't want to know. 200 years ago I might have been burnt at the stake for what I do.
You and I wouldn't be here today.
No, but you got to think outside the square, and there's two sides to every story. So, we get a lot of stuff in the books that's been written by someone who has a financial interest in what's in the books. So, at the end of the day, are they right or are they wrong? But
well, the proof's in the pudding, mate.
Yeah, go back to the old guys and look at the old writings. And then enhance on what they're doing with the technologies we have available today, like you guys are doing. So
now, talk to me about this pivot that you might not be able to see. How big a pivot's that?
Oh, it covers just over 150 hectares.
Okay.
So it's only 450, 500 metres long, I think.
And so in summer usually that's running for.
Well, we had a real dry patch, and we had summer in November here this year.
Okay.
So that basically ran all November, and it was 15 mils around, and it takes just over 4 days to do a round.
Yeah. Okay.
So, they like to say that we need 35 mils a week under those circumstances, but we were putting on less than 30.
Yeah.
And
still good
keeping up. So we thought we might have to nozzle up, but because the system's running sweet, just let it rock and roll.
So what would you say to other guys that are looking at the Vortex devices here on the Canterbury Plains or anywhere?
Well, for the investment, it's a no-brainer. Put it in, see where it goes, because every other option is conventional, that is not really, I don't think, in working with nature and nature's best interest. So I think just because you're hammering hell out of something doesn't mean to say you're going to make it right. Sometimes you just got to step back. So, but
based on the 7 years it's been in and what the units cost you to put in, it's a pretty low pretty low upfront cost, really.
Oh yeah, and like I don't know what the accumulated benefits of it are, but when you can see them on a power meter, when you can see them in the soil profile, you're compounding the benefits. And I think as long as we're always compounding on a rising plane, then it's when we're on the ducks and the dives that the highs and the lows, we're just standing still. But if everything we can do, we can compound each year.
Well, we've got another couple of little tricks up our sleeves for the Vortex devices, which I'll get Arthur to look at, which will be really interesting in a study we've got coming out to improve the fungal ratios in the soil. I'm sure Arthur will be all over that, so stand by, guys. Next year I'll come back. I won't leave it 6 years, Arthur.
Not a problem.
So look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks again, Arthur. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jody.
On you, bud.